The first thing animals may feel when they see us is not curiosity. It is fear. Imagine a quiet morning deep inside a forest. A deer lowers its head to drink from a river. The wind stops. The leaves move. Something approaches. A strange creature walks out from between the trees. It has no claws, no sharp teeth, no thick fur, no powerful muscles. By every rule of nature, it should not be dangerous. But the deer does not know what this creature will become. It does not know that this fragile-looking animal will one day reshape forests, cross oceans, reach the sky, and transform the entire planet. It only sees something unnatural, a creature that cannot run the fastest, yet can chase anything, a creature that cannot fight the strongest, yet can defeat almost anything, a creature that does not dominate through its body, but through its mind. From the perspective of animals, humans are not the perfect creatures we often imagine ourselves to be. We are a strange exception to nature. Most animals survive because their bodies are built for survival. Lions have powerful jaws. Eagles have extraordinary vision. Cheetahs have incredible speed. Elephants have overwhelming strength. Humans have none of these. Our skin is fragile. Our bodies are slow. Our newborn children are completely helpless. A human baby left alone in the wild would not survive for long. And yet, somehow, this vulnerable species became the most influential creature on Earth. Not because we became stronger, but because we learned something no other species mastered in the same way. We learned how to change the world instead of simply adapting to it. Thousands of years ago, our ancestors lived among predators. Night belonged to the creatures with sharper senses and stronger bodies. The darkness was dangerous. The forest was unforgiving. Humans had no natural weapons. So we created another kind of weapon: prediction, memory, cooperation. A group of humans sitting around a fire was more powerful than any individual human. Fire pushed predators away. Language carried knowledge forward. Experience from one generation became survival information for the next. For the first time in Earth's history, a species was no longer relying only on its own body. It was relying on the combined intelligence of an entire group. This was humanity's greatest evolutionary advantage. A wolf can learn from its own experience. A human can learn from thousands of years of accumulated knowledge. Our bodies disappear, but our ideas continue. We store memories and stories, in symbols, in technology. Our intelligence can travel beyond our own lifetime. But every great power has a hidden cost. The moment humans realized we could reshape the world, we slowly began to lose something important: humility. Animals kill to survive. Predators hunt because they need energy. But humans sometimes destroy without necessity. We cut down forests, change rivers, erase habitats. Not always because we need to survive. Sometimes because we want more. From an animal's perspective, this may be the most confusing part of humanity. Why would a creature damage the environment it depends on? A wolf does not destroy its own territory to prove dominance. A bird does not burn its own forest for a temporary advantage. But humans often do. This is the contradiction animals face when they look at us. We are intelligent enough to understand the consequences of our actions, yet are fool enough to ignore them. And still, something even more fascinating happens. Some animals are not simply afraid of humans. Some choose to approach us. Dogs look into our eyes. Elephants remember our actions. Crows study our behavior. Primates imitate our movements. They are trying to understand a species unlike anything they have encountered before. A creature capable of kindness and destruction. A creature that can protect life and threaten it. Humans change the planet, But the deeper question is not what animals think of our power. It is this: if animals could judge our existence, would they see us as Earth's most intelligent species, or its most dangerous one? If animals could describe humanity with one word, it might not be powerful. It might be unpredictable, because in nature, the most dangerous creature is not always the strongest. Sometimes it is the one that refuses to follow the rules. A lion follows instinct. A wolf calculates risk. A bird follows the rhythm of the seasons. But humans do something completely different. We sacrifice today for tomorrow. We suffer now for an imagined future. We build entire civilizations around ideas that exist only inside our minds. To animals, this ability would seem almost impossible to understand. Most creatures live inside the present moment. They search for food, avoid danger, protect their offspring. Their actions are directly connected to survival. Humans escaped that limitation. We became creatures of imagination. We can fear disasters that have not happened. We can sacrifice decades of our lives for a dream. We can create worlds that do not exist, and then make them real. This ability transformed us, but it also made us dangerous. Millions of years of evolution shaped animals to fit their environments. Humans chose another path. We changed the environment itself. A sharp stone became an extension of our hands. Fire became an extension of our power. Machines became extensions of our bodies. We broke the limits of biology. We could not run faster, so we built vehicles. We could not fly, so we created aircraft. We could not survive underwater, so we entered the ocean. Animals adapt to the world. Humans design the world. That is our greatest strength and our greatest risk. Because tools are never the problem. The mind holding the tool is. Fire can warm a family. Fire can destroy a forest. Technology can save millions of lives. Technology can also create unimaginable destruction. Human intelligence gave us control, but control created a dangerous illusion. The illusion that everything belongs to us. Thousands of years ago, humans began domesticating other species. Wild animals became companions. Plants became crops. Nature became something we managed. For the first time, one species began deciding the future of countless others. Which animals would survive? Which animals would disappear? Which forms of life would exist beside us? From an animal's perspective, this was a completely new reality. No wolf controls the future of deer. No eagle decides how fish populations should grow. But humans do. We became a force that could influence evolution itself. Almost like nature had created a new kind of natural force. One with thoughts. One with ambition. One with desire. But history has shown something repeatedly. The greater the power, the greater the responsibility. Humans once believed forests existed for us. Then forests began disappearing. We believed rivers belonged to us. Then ecosystems collapsed. We believed we controlled nature. Then nature reminded us we were still part of it. Animals do not see humans as gods. They see something more complicated. A young giant. A creature with enough power to reshape the planet, but still learning how to handle that power. We can protect endangered species, or eliminate them. We can restore forests, or destroy them. We can become guardians, or become disasters. The question is no longer whether humans can dominate nature. The question is whether we are mature enough to live with the consequences of our own dominance. If animals truly understand humans, they may not understand our words first. They understand our emotions. Because before language existed, life already depended on reading invisible signals. A predator watches movement. A prey animal studies danger. A social animal reads its companions. Survival has always depended on one ability: understanding others. And animals have been doing this far longer than humans have. A dog does not need words to know when you are sad. A horse can sense fear before a person speaks. A crow can remember a human who harmed it. These are not magical abilities. They are ancient survival systems. Animals communicate through eyes, movement, sounds, distance, silence, long before humans created language. We use the same signals. A baby cannot understand sentences, but it understands warmth. It understands anger. It understands safety. Emotion came before language, and animals still live closer to that world. But humans often make a mistake. We assume animals are simply incomplete versions of us. We give them human emotions. We imagine they think exactly like we do. But animals are not failed humans. They are successful versions of themselves. Their reality is different. A dog does not see the world exactly as we do. A bird does not experience freedom the way humans imagine it. A whale does not understand the ocean through human ideas. Every species lives inside its own version of reality. This is why the relationship between humans and animals is so fascinating. Dogs entered our world through thousands of years of evolution alongside us. They learned our expressions, our voices, our habits. They became one of the few species capable of reading human emotions so deeply. But this relationship also reveals a painful truth. Humans love being understood by animals. Yet we rarely try to understand them. We want animals to comfort our loneliness, to reduce our stress, to become part of our lives. But we often forget to ask, what kind of life do they want? A creature living inside a human-made environment may be safe. But safety is not always freedom. A cage can protect. A cage can also limit. A city can provide food. A city can also erase natural instincts. This contradiction exists everywhere. Humans can become an animal's greatest protector, and its greatest limitation. Perhaps this comes from something deeper inside the human mind. We have always searched for proof that we are different, higher, separate, above nature. But science keeps revealing something uncomfortable. The boundary between humans and other animals is not as clear as we once believed. Many species remember. Many species feel. Many species form relationships. Many species experience a world far richer than we imagined. They are not humans. But they are not empty machines either. When a chimpanzee looks at a human through GLASS, perhaps it sees something familiar. A strange relative. A creature with similar eyes. Similar emotions. But a completely different path. Humans spent millions of years becoming who we are. Other animals spent millions of years becoming who they are. Neither path was a failure. They simply became different answers to the same question. How does life survive? And now, something extraordinary is happening. Animals are learning us. They are adapting to our cities, our sounds, our habits, our dangers. The question is no longer whether humans can understand animals. The question is, when animals finally understand humans, will we be willing to see ourselves through their eyes? One day, humans may realize something deeply unsettling. Every animal on Earth has been watching us. They watched us leave the forests. They watched us discover fire. They watched us build cities. They watched us transform the planet. If animals could record history, their version of humanity would probably be very different from ours. In our story, we are explorers, creators, builders of civilization. But from the perspective of other species, we may also be the force that suddenly changed the rules of life. After humans arrived, the rhythm of the planet accelerated. Forests became roads. Wild landscapes became cities. Natural darkness disappeared beneath artificial light. Animals were forced into a new challenge. They had to adapt to humans, just as humans once adapted to nature. Some animals escaped. They moved deeper into wilderness. Others changed. They entered our cities. They learned our patterns. They discovered new ways to survive beside us. This is a new evolutionary competition, and the winner will not necessarily be the strongest. It will be the species most capable of change. That was once humanity's advantage. But now we are creating a world where every creature must adapt to our choices. The greatest challenge for humans is not intelligence. We already have intelligence. The challenge is wisdom. Because power without understanding becomes destruction. We can save species. We can erase species. We can heal ecosystems. We can damage them. We can love individual animals deeply while ignoring entire populations disappearing far away. This contradiction reveals something uncomfortable about human psychology. We are excellent at caring about what we can see, but we struggle to feel what we cannot. A single animal's eyes can move us. The disappearance of an entire ecosystem can feel distant. Yet both represent the same thing: life. A mature civilization is not defined by how much it can control. It is defined by how responsibly it uses that control. Because humans are not the final chapter of Earth's story. We are only one chapter. Before us, countless species existed. After us, other forms of life may continue. The planet does not belong to humanity. We are simply one species that suddenly gained enormous influence. So the next time we look at an animal, perhaps we should ask a different question. Not, what can this creature do for us? But, what does this creature see when it looks at us? Does it see a protector, a threat, a partner, or a mystery? Maybe the greatest question is not what animals think about humans. Maybe the greatest question is whether humans are brave enough to discover what we truly look like from the outside. Because the moment we finally see ourselves through another species' eyes, we may discover that the most unfamiliar creature on Earth has always been ourselves.